and we're super excited to have Larsen, Director of Public Works for the City of Fremont. And I first got to know you when you were Director of Transportation in the City of San Jose, and was always really excited to collaborate with you. So look, Hans, a few months ago, and it feels like a million years ago, but I remember a few months ago when you had a big gathering in Fremont. Remember when we gathered people and talked? You remember those days?
So we did that. Yeah.
So you outlined this. Yeah, you outlined this vision and work that you were literally doing in Fremont around pedestrian safety, new bicycle lanes, and really advanced looks at bicycle lanes, not just paint. New initiatives in kind of driver and traffic safety, as well as modernizing traffic systems. And I know we've collaborated with you on things like your smart and safe corridor, as well as some of your interest in autonomy. And I was really excited by what you kind of presented en masse. I remember literally thinking, man, I want to sell my house and go move to Fremont. This is going to be the place to be. So I was super excited, and I'm still super excited for what you're doing. But I guess I wanted to start off by saying, this has been an incredibly challenging few months. And I can imagine that it's, if not wiping the slate clean, it may have really changed how you're looking at some of these challenges. And I thought maybe we could start off, maybe tell us a little bit about kind of your role in Fremont and how all of these kind of initiatives that you've been undertaking have kind of morphed in the current climate.
Yeah, so it has been kind of an incredible time, and I think it's like 3 months into sort of the start of the shelter in place, and
Yes.
It has just been this tremendous time of disruptive change, and here we are in Silicon Valley, and those kinds of things happen, but to the degree that they're happening now is just really unprecedented. And so I think if you look at the combination of the coronavirus pandemic and then the economic downturn that's associated with that, and then the racial unrest that we're dealing with the horrific George Floyd killing, and the energizing the Black Lives Matter movement, and last night in the last couple of meetings at our city council have been dominated about defunding the police department and services. And if we think this is going to end soon, probably not. We're entering probably the most divisive political season that we've ever seen, and more than half of our city council members are up for election this cycle. And then, I just heard this morning on a call from our emergency operations center that, the second wave of coronavirus is likely going to hit us in the fall, combined with the new flu season. So, hang on. We're going to be at this for a while. And I think, as a public works director, we've had our programs that we've been engaged in, but we're moving into just, how do we deal with the current environment? And, all of us that are in the public sector get pulled into, being, emergency, service worker. And so, we're working in that mode. And I think it really is testing all of us, our, resilience, like never before. But I'm somewhat, in my 35-year career, I've been through, the economic booms and busts and changes. And, I think, there's a level to kind of the spirit of Silicon Valley that makes us resilient and roll with the changes and kind of figure out how we adapt to the current environment. And so I think what we're doing kind of in Fremont is looking at a couple of things that are, I think, pretty notable. And it's not just something in Fremont, but I think, if we were looking 6 months ago, horrendous traffic congestion, was a top issue that we were dealing with.
Right.
And that has pretty much, disappeared. And, the kind of safety issues that we were dealing with, were also different. where it was largely, how do we, create, infrastructure for people walking and biking that's going to be safer. Well, when everyone's sheltered in place and there's not that many people out there, our safety issues have turned to how do you deal with the few people that are on the road that feel like, they can go 100 miles an hour down the freeways and, 75 miles an hour through our local communities. And so, we've done, a couple of things, to kind of transition, our focus to adapt to the current times. And let me just give you a couple of examples that I think are pretty amazing. Just the transition of the workforce. I think for a government agency, we're now doing what, many in the private sector have been doing for a while, that work for global companies, is that, the workforce, can work where, largely wherever they want if they're in engineering or administration. But for government, it's really been an incredible time of getting, folks working effectively at home, getting the communication networks to their home. We even let folks, take their city equipment and their design workstations at home if they want. We're learning how to use tools like Zoom, and we started up DocuSign. And it's really been quite incredible that I truly believe that our engineering and administrative staff, are working more productively now, largely at home, than we ever did before, just because of this sort of mass transition to using, these new productivity tools that we have. And so one thing that I think is exciting is that, there is an effort to look at how do we, sustain this telework gain and continue to optimize it, for the benefits that it has. So, there's the health benefit and not having, a lot of people working together, but there's also the tremendous, traffic, congestion benefit, as well as, it helps with, greenhouse gas emissions. You don't have all these vehicles around. And so I think as a, silver lining to, all the kind of crisis we're dealing with, that there may be an opportunity here to really make some inroads on the environment and traffic.
Right. So that hasn't slowed you down in terms of building out some of the infrastructure that the city needs to have safe streets. I'm taking it that it's the mission to keep people safe has taken on a different dimension than just getting kids to school and getting people to work. It's become an even bigger mission.
Yeah, I think it's changed, and those other things that we were doing before are important. You mentioned school. We just won a national award this year on having it's called the Vision Zero for Youth Leadership Role Award, and only 3 cities have received this award. It's third time. So Los Angeles, New York City, and now Fremont, California. So we're in some pretty kind of special circles there. But kids aren't walking and biking to school right now, and there's sort of an uncertain future on what school's going to look like, starting in the fall. But again, we're working with our partners at the Fremont Unified School District to figure that out, and we'll adapt our programs there as well. But let me just touch on, some of the other projects that we've had that we've adapted in a kind of a unique and creative way. And you're aware that we launched, 6 months or so ago, an autonomous vehicle shuttle service, working with Fremont-based company Pony AI. And so they had started up a shuttle service to take people from the Centerville train station in Fremont, which is a stop for the Altamont Commuter Express and the Capitol Corridor, and then taking them, folks, and we were piloting it with city employees, using our own employees as the guinea pigs for the service. But they would get an autonomous vehicle ride to their workplace, in the morning and back. Well, when coronavirus hit and everybody went home, and the idea of putting 3 or 4 people into a little shuttle vehicle wasn't the right thing to do. And so so we suspended the service, but Pony AI said, hey, we want to continue to demonstrate and sort of map the Fremont community, to provide autonomous vehicle service. Is there something else that we can do? And, that question of, partnership, what else can we do in these times, evolved into a creative thought around, hey, we have a lot of seniors in our community. We have homeless people that are, in shelters, and there's a need to provide them with meals.
Right.
And so our senior center was preparing meals, but there was a need to be able to get the meals delivered to the people that needed them. And so, we said, hey, Pony AI, how about you get into the meal delivery service? And they jumped at the opportunity. And thus far, Pony AI has delivered 2,700 meals to
amazing.
members of the Fremont community, homeless, seniors that need meals that didn't have access to them before, and they're being delivered with an autonomous vehicle. So I think that's I think just sort of a very kind of cool project on sort of how we can adapt some of the things that we're doing.
That's incredible, and I think just a really excellent example. You've also been upgrading your traffic signal systems, and you've kept that going. Taking advantage of lighter traffic in order to get these projects moving forward. I understand you've been looking at how traffic control and keeping people safe is really kind of taken on again a kind of an expanded mission with a lot of civil demonstrations and such going on, and needing to really keep people safe. Maybe tell us a little bit about how traffic systems have taken on a different role too.
Yeah, and so our effort to completely modernize our traffic signal system continues to go forward. But with the recent events, we have just expanded the value of these kind of systems. And so in Fremont, and I think really unprecedentedly, there are peaceful protests and people gathering to make their voices heard around the issues of our times. And we're having to manage, the streets in a different way. And so having the ability with video monitoring at the traffic signals and to be able to control the traffic signals remotely allows us to create a street environment that helps both manage and, keep the community safe, during these special events that are occurring. And so that wasn't really something that, we saw as a use case for signal modernization, that in where we have modernized our system, and we're already deriving benefits from that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty amazing. So, it's an uncertain future. Certainly, people are driving. There are pedestrians. Accidents haven't gone away. There's still a lot to be responsible for, but the ways that Fremont is taking care of its people has definitely changed with the times. And we don't know how long this is going to last, but I think it's really commendable that the vision that you had for safe, smart streets, employing autonomy, none of that has changed. You're just moving those things in maybe different ways to meet the needs of citizens of Fremont, and that's really amazing. So what's next?
Well, I think we just kind of keep
I think we're all wondering that,
adapting and monitoring the situation. I think, there's generally, a body of work that we have about safe streets, complete streets, smart streets that we're continuing to move forward. And, we'll adjust to take that agenda and, make it, appropriate and relevant to the current times.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be following what you do. We're really proud to partner with you. We're excited that we're finding new ways to leverage technology advancements to really serve the citizens. And that's just an amazing thing to be part of. So thank you so much. We're right on time. We call it 15-minute break because that's what it is. We want to give folks the rest of their half hour to get on with their workday. I really appreciate this chance to talk to you again. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Doug. And we really love the partnership that we have with Prospect Silicon Valley.
Thank you so much.